Hello everyone, in this video I am going to show you how to go from sketch to painting using a loose style of painting, and we're going to be using watercolor for this tutorial. Here is the pages of sketches or studies that I have done in tomatoes using various references from the internet, and I'm going to go in with the tracing paper to transfer this image to my watercolor paper. So I'm going to take one of the images that I've done and draw the line work on one side of the tracing paper, just as you see here. Then on the other side of the page, I'm going to take a watercolor pencil and scribble all over the back as thickly as I can to get this colored effect that I will use to transfer the image onto the paper. Onto the watercolor paper. On my watercolor paper, I'm also going to mark out the center of the page so that when I do place my image down, I know exactly where it's going to go. And then placing the tracing paper down and drawing over the lines once more to have my transfer. I like to use watercolor pencil because when you transfer your image, it is in watercolor pencil, so when you paint over it, technically most of your lines should be gone, and if they are there, then I like the effect that it uses where you just have a little bit of a darker edge, so it creates a little bit of dimension to the edges of your painting. For paint colors, I'm using permanent red, phthalo blue green shade, and a lemon yellow, all from Daniel Smith, and then adding in a little bit of orangey red color from Winsor Newton. And I'm cleaning up my palette here from a brown that I had before because I don't need that brown right now. And then I'm going in with light washes first and then darkening up. These tomatoes I'm painting today will be painted in a loose painterly type style, so I'm not worried about blending too much. This technique and style I think is great for beginners because it's just putting paint down and creating shadows and line work, and I also like the variation of the texture and how you can see the different painted strokes. But you do you, and how you do it is up to you. I'm just doing it this way because I like how it looks. So I did wet the page a little bit before I started so that I can get a little bit of a blended effect, and then when I go in tapping in my darker colors, it charges in on the sides and it just leaves that little bit of darker effect. I'm going for quite a high contrasting multi-dimensional effect with this painting. So you'll see I've left the whites quite bright, and then when I go dark I will use a purple and almost a pure blue for the darker shadows. And then painting in with the green, I've used a little bit of sap green from Winsor Newton, and then I've mixed in the phthalo blue green shade and the lemon yellow from Daniel Smith. And then also just keeping it quite painterly. First I painted the red of the tomato, and then when that was drying and almost dry, I went in to paint the leaves and then to go back to the red part of the tomato. So you'll see I do move around the page a little bit, going from the green to the red, letting each section dry as I go before I charge in with the next color. I did feel like I went in a little bit too dark on the stem of that tomato, so I just went back and lifted the color and then added in some dimension later on. I do a slight little bit of an outline on the edges of these tomato leaves, and then also on the side, and the shadow at the bottom I used a dark red purple type shade with a little bit of the green added in. For paper, I've used an Arches watercolor paper cold press, and I cut off a smaller bit from a large sheet that I bought. This tomato I made sure to keep If you found this video inspiring today, give it a like, comment down below what you would like to see us paint next. So this is just a few layers. I think it was 3 layers, just letting the layers dry in between before I added more color in. And I really like how it turned out. It's painterly, it's simple, it's great for beginners to do. I hope you liked this video, and I hope that it inspired you today to do more watercolor painting. And if you do try this out, tag me on social media. I would love to see what you do. And until the next video, I will see you there.